How's it going, folks? So, I'm going to talk about wounded masculine energy and the purging of it that I've been feeling and hearing about the past few months. Learning about the cabal disguised as the patriarchy and disguised as many things, but just some stuff I've been learning about. And primarily, big part of my learning of masculine and feminine energies came from Jake Woodard, as I'm taking his course. I have his course on that, and he explains these two energies very in depth, and other concepts I've been learning about, watching and listening to stuff around conspiracies and spirituality and the ascension of the planet Earth and the Great Awakening that is happening, and also to pull some lessons, some stuff from my life to enlighten some people if they don't know what it is that's happening right now. So this term toxic masculinity was something that really triggered me, bothered me, as I felt it was directed at me and that I was toxic for expressing my masculinity. And I think the big bowl of fuckery that's been happening is that we're fighting each other, and that there are deeper forces, the cabal, which are pulling the strings to create situations that it's in ways that it seems like it's certain members of society's fault, and that we can fight each other and blame each other when it's really these people that we don't see that are manipulating our reality, manipulating our perceptions. And this toxic masculinity or wounded masculinity has been running the show for thousands of years. And what's interesting now is that with the ascension of the planet and the Great Awakening, the divine feminine is coming back to all of us. So, in talking about masculine and feminine energies, I don't mean men is masculine and women is feminine, because we all have both energies. Every single person has a masculine and a feminine energy within them. Generally, men have more masculine energy and women have more feminine energy, but we all have both. And wounded masculinity is aggression, violence, dominating, forcing, controlling, stuffing down. Feminine energy, which divine feminine energy, is healing, emotions, the flow of creativity, healing and feeling. And this stuffing down has been happening throughout history with things like the Salem witch trials and the Inquisition, things like that, not letting women vote stuff. And it is quite commendable what women have done. Obviously, it's amazing. And giving birth to people is pretty cool too. And I was quite against the term toxic masculinity, and also against third wave feminism, because I felt that it was attacking me for just being a guy. And now I can understand how third wave feminism came about. And what's interesting is what I see in third wave feminism is a lot of women who are fighting against the patriarchy, and men are actually exhibiting the behavior of these aggressive men. They're using their masculine energy in a wounded way, all this dominating, forcing, controlling, and stuff like that. So this wounded masculine energy has been on the planet, in the collective, in this insane ego mind that we've all been a part of for a long time. And it's really cool. I've been tapping into my own divine feminine, to my own healing, crying out my emotions, healing, feeling it, let go from my body, purging it, transmuting that energy, and yeah. Also, another aspect of wounded sexual energy, both masculine and feminine, is the over-sexuality. So this isn't the aggressive alpha macho guy who just wants to go out and get laid all the time, which was me, and basing my masculinity off of how many women I can seduce, have sex with, stuff like that. And also with this, I guess you could call it this new wave of feminism, of free sexuality, where women can go have sex with whoever they want. But it's not sacred. It's not using our sexual energy as sacred. Because learning more about spirituality, there are dark entities and dark spirits that latch onto us when we engage in certain negative thinking patterns, activities, and sex is probably the most potent way to, an easiest way for these dark entities to enter into our fields. So I was certainly doing a lot of that last year, primarily 2019 was doing a lot of that with other women who were loose in their sexuality. And not to shame people for being sexual, I've just turned a different page on that part of my life and quitting porn and getting into nofap and semen retention, stuff like that, as I just uncovered this wounded masculine part of me that didn't feel good enough, and I only felt good enough when I was having sex and seducing women, and I was really addicted to coming and addicted to my penis and a slave to it, a slave to my own mind and penis. And just staying in my lower energy levels. And there's a whole thing around manipulation with our society. And my beard's a little wet, so I'm touching my face. So I'm kind of jumping around here, but one of the times it was really solidified that I felt like I was living in a sick society was I played football growing up from 2nd to 10th grade, and growing up playing in Little League was a lot of fun. It was some of my most fun years in sports. And then going into high school, I hit puberty late, so the kids were a lot bigger and stronger and faster than me, and I remember the equipment wasn't as good, and the coaches were just a lot meaner too. They were just aggressive, and they would yell, and they would call us homophobic things, and it was just normal. It was just okay because that's what people were doing. And it's just like, all right, I'm a kid, I'm 14, 15 years old, I guess this is the situation that I'm in. I play football, I like football, but it was fucked up. It was just not a great time. And my sophomore year, my last year playing, I remember the older kids on the varsity team got it a lot worse. Like, coaches would yell at them and, fuck around with them more aggressively. And I remember this one coach, his voice was always rasped, like, because he was always fucking yelling at kids. Talk about wounded masculinity and the cutting off of any feminine healing energy, where he would just yell. And I remember he was yelling at this one kid who he wasn't making this block, and I don't know what, after each play he would get in this kid's face, he'd like grab him, Like, what you doing, you fucking pussy? You can't make a fucking block. And he hit him on the head. And I'm just like, yo, this is really fucked up. Like, this is abuse. These are not your children. And these are like teachers at a public school. And this is 2010. And these coaches are just allowed to smack these kids around. And it was a lot worse back in the day, but it's still not okay to do it now. And I just remember, like, you know, this is not okay. And you have all these wounded masculine men yelling at these 15-year-olds who are bashing their heads together with this shitty equipment. And so I quit after that. But I guess I feel that this kind of energy is going to get worse for the next, I don't know how long, few months, few years maybe, as it's purging out all this yelling and forcing and dominating, and you have to do this and you can't do that, and wear your mask and vote for this person and shit like that. And all this political correctness of you can't say this and you should say that, and all these disguises and manipulation in ways that are really imposing on all of our own personal sovereignty to express ourselves freely and authentically. And yeah, I'm excited to see this divine feminine energy come back into Earth, into all of us, not just women. And the healing, the mass healing that's going to take place on the Earth. So, yeah, don't be surprised if there's more yelling. Like right now, there's fire trucks or ambulances that go by blaring every, I don't know, couple hours at least, every day. It's been that way since the election. Like, I don't know what they're trying to do. Like, oh, there's a COVID emergency. My first impression was that, oh, they're going to arrest all of the people that they're supposed to arrest, which is a whole other rabbit hole. But they could just be doing it to try to scare us, try to put more fear into us. Because, yeah, a big part of wounded masculinity is fear and insecurity in thyself. And so trying to control and impose your fear onto other people and control them. So, yeah, all that shit's gotta go soon. It's gonna go. Doesn't matter if it's gotta or not, it just is. And I'm excited to bring that in and to see all these divine women step into their power and all these divine men get more in touch with their emotions and things that they've been stuffing down in themselves and maybe stuffing down in others as well. So, yeah. It's gonna be quite the show. So I hope you enjoy it. And take care of yourselves. Till next time.